Hello. Okay. So we are going to start on our back today with the knees bent and feet on the floor. You can go ahead and get there if you'd like. Hi everyone. So the props you'll need today are few. You actually might not use them if you don't normally use props and you normally practice yoga. But if you have a hard time touching the floor when you fold forward, grab your yoga blocks or 2 hardback books about the same height. And we may or may not use a strap. This could be a tie or a yoga strap, anything like that. So we're going to get started laying on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. This is active rest position. And so get comfortable. Tune into your breath. And we're going to start class today slowly, but work our way into more of a flowing yoga class, which is often called vinyasa yoga if you're not familiar. Personally, I've been feeling really lethargic, like stuck to the ground, stuck in place, not sure what to do, so frozen. And this week I really needed more movement in my practice. And so I'm offering that to you too, maybe as a balance to what's going on in your life. We're going to begin first, though, by really finding the breath in the rib cage, because we want to return to a full breath as we practice yoga. Even as we move through the poses, we never want to become detached to our body. We're not writing a sequence of choreography from pose to pose. We're experiencing each shape we make with our body, with our breath, and experiencing the movement. So it's always about being in the moment, in your body. So you're lying on the floor. Place your hands at your low ribs so that the middle fingers touch right in the middle. I'll show you what that looks like if you're unsure. Most of your hands should be feeling ribs underneath your skin, or underneath the skin of the palms, and the middle fingers touch right in the middle. And now notice as you breathe, the middle fingers draw away from one another as you inhale. And when you exhale, they come back together. So you can feel the movement of your breath in your low ribs here. Don't try to force anything. Don't try to puff up the ribs as you breathe. Just notice what you notice. And we'll explore a few different areas of the rib cage in the beginning of class here. And you may notice some of them move more than others. And that's interesting to note about yourself as well. So the next arm position is a little awkward to get into, but you'll bring your palms underneath your armpits so the fingers stream forward over the breast tissue. And now as you breathe, can you feel the ribs expanding laterally from right to left as you inhale? And as you exhale, they naturally condense and soften. And depending on the mobility in your shoulders, the hands might be applying a little bit of pressure against the ribs that you're breathing into. And that's a good technique when you're using touch to feel what's going on in your body. So just inhaling and exhaling naturally through the nose if possible. We'll explore a new place. So now you'll flatten your palms, fingers facing towards your face on your chest, so that the fingers, tops of the fingers are above the collarbone. So if you wanted to, you could hook the collarbone, but we're not going to be grabbing on. And now, same thing, see if you can feel the breath as it moves your ribs here at the upper chest and even above the collarbone. We've got one more place to explore. This time you'll tuck your hands palms face down underneath your low ribs, so almost opposite from the first position where you had them. And so the backs of your hands now will be feeling the movement of the low back ribs into the hands as you breathe in, and retracting naturally, subtly away from the hands as you breathe out. And this is actually where the most lung tissue here is, at the back low ribs. But it's often the hardest to feel because here's where the ribs are attaching right into the vertebra. So there's a lot more solidity here than, say, the opposite side of the body. Now when you feel like you've explored the breath, bring your hands down to the side of the body, palms face up, and see if you can feel the entire area of the rib cage, everywhere you've touched, as it responds to the length and depth of your breath. So it won't all expand simultaneously. You might notice some areas beginning to lift before others as you breathe in. But see if you can notice a full breath. So noticing the breath filling the ribs. And we'll come back to this sensation throughout class. I'll say take a full breath. I want you to remember the way it feels here after you've done all the work finding it, so that you can return to this sensation on the breath as you move through your practice. Let's toe heel the feet apart as wide as the mat. Bring the arms out to a T, so elbows in line with the shoulders. You might bend the elbows at 90 degrees or leave the arms straight. Take a full breath, inhale. And as you exhale, let the knees drop over to the left. And if it feels natural in your body, gaze over to the right. Full breath here. Stay with it. Let's bring the knees back to center. A full breath in to prepare in your own time. And when you exhale, you'll drop the knees over to the right and maybe gaze over to your left. Take your full breath. Now bring the knees back to center, point the nose back to the sky, and walk the feet and legs together. So the inner edges of the feet and legs now touch. Again, inhale, full breath, and exhale, drop the knees over to the left, gaze to the right. Notice how this twist feels different. Maybe you're getting more of a rotation in the hips with your legs glued together like so. Let's use an inhale breath to bring everything back to center, and then we're ready to exhale and drop the knees to the right, gaze to the left. And if something's going on with your neck, or if it's uncomfortable to turn the head in this way, you don't have to do the neck part. And you can adjust your body in any way you need to so that you're never in any pain during your practice. On an inhale breath, ride the breath back to center. And now pull the knees all the way into the chest, arms still at the side of the body. Keep the knees in close to the chest, inhale. And as you exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Now they're tucking in and up towards the left elbow. And again, maybe gaze to the right. Find your full breath. You might even notice you're more aware of the shape of your spine when you take that full rib cage breath. Wait for an inhale, and when you breathe in, bring everything back to center, using a little bit of core strength here. And exhale over to the second side. Knees to the right elbow, optional gaze to the left. Full breath. Sometimes the hardest thing in a yoga practice is to train the breath, is to come back to the breath and take the time to feel it. On an inhale, bring everything back to center. Place the feet on the floor, hips width distance apart. And then bring the hands down along the side of the body, palms face down. Just a couple times, pelvic tilting. As you exhale, flatten your low back down to the earth. So you press the low back down, the navel deepens into the body. And as you inhale, arch the low back away from the ground. Couple of times, exhaling to flatten, inhaling to arch. Now move your hands to your front hip points with the fingers on top of your pubic bone and continue this movement on your breath. And notice how when you exhale, your pubic bone lifts up higher than the two front hip points. And as you inhale and arch, the pubic bone drops down lower than the two front hip points. Can you find a place where the two front hip points and the pubic bone are level? So they're the same distance away from the ceiling. I'll say that again. The two front hip points and pubic bone are level to the ceiling. And what you'll probably notice is that there's a natural arch in your low back. I'll call this a neutral spine or a neutral low back. It's the natural curve of your low back, and it's a shock absorber for every step that you take. So we're going to work with a couple of ab exercises from this neutral spine. What I want you to prioritize today is keeping the hips stable, not rock solid, not super still, not over tensed, but stable, and keeping this neutral spine. Okay, so with that in mind, let's lift up one knee and then the other right over the hips. Shins are parallel with the earth, so you're making a 90-degree angle. And you might notice that you already have to work to keep those hips neutral. Even weight on the right and left pelvic halves, pubic bone and two front hip points still level to the sky. Work to keep that neutral and slowly lower to tap the right toes down to the floor. Don't go too fast that you lose track of those hips. Slowly lift the right knee back to its starting point. And we'll do the second side. Keep the neutrality of the spine, keep the hips stable, lower and lift left leg. Relax your head and your neck, feel your shoulders heavy. You can keep the stability in the hips without tensing the upper body. One more time, both sides. Lower and lift right toes. And I'm trusting you to take the time you need to be honest about that sensation in the hips. Left side. And place the feet on the floor. Whew, take a rest. Release the hands along the side of the body. Take a full breath. You remember full breath, full rib cage. All right, round two. Place the hands back on the top hips and fingers on the pubic bone if that helped you. Your spine is in neutral, your hips are level, and lift both of your knees up over hip height. Keep the right knee right where it is. Straighten the left leg up to the sky. Now, if you've got tight hamstrings, you might not be able to straighten that left leg and keep your hips neutral. Prioritize the hips, okay? Prioritize that they stay where they go, and then now you'll start to see how tight hamstrings affects what's going on in your spine. All right, so I'll leave this up to you. We're either going to do 3 taps like we just did with the left knee bent, or the left leg straight. It won't be a tap, it will be a lower and lift, okay? So choose knee straight or knee bent. And here we go, hips neutral. As you inhale, slowly lower that left leg as far as you can so that the back does not change shape. When it starts to change shape, you've gone too far. Use an exhale breath to lift the left leg back up to its starting point, either straight or bent 2 more times. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Nice. Let's place both of the feet flat on the floor. Bring the arms out to the sides of the body and take a full breath in and out. Second side. All right, hands on the top hips. Bring the knees over hip height. And first, everybody just straighten that right leg. Again, notice what's going on at the hips and at the low back. And then pick your poison, right knee bent or straight, 3 lowers and lift. We inhale to lower, either tapping toes or hovering the heel. And exhale to bring the leg back to the starting point, directly over the hip. Number 2, inhale down. Exhale up. Soften the head, neck, and shoulders. Take a full breath as you do this next one. Inhale down. Feel the ribs expand. Exhale, bring it back. And release. Let's bring the arms overhead. Straighten the legs. Stretch the belly. And roll over onto the belly. Hands on the floor along the sides of the ribs. Forehead on the earth. Tops of the feet point back and press down into the ground. Roll your shoulders away from the ground. Inhale, lift your heart. Draw your shoulders back. Hover your hands. Lower your hands. And lower the forehead back down to the earth. Now reach back and feel for your buttocks. Squeeze the butt cheeks together and notice how that feels. Now release those butt cheeks, make them squishy. And lift just the right toes off the ground. Notice if you're trying to squeeze the butt cheeks together. Resist the urge. There's still engagement under your hand. And lower the right leg. Second side. Lift the left leg. Think about your hips. Think about what neutral would look like here. And lower. Now bring the hands back outside of the ribs. Roll the shoulders back. Upper body, inhale, lift the heart off of the ground. And now without squeezing the buttocks together, lift both of your legs off the ground. There should be space in the low back. Knees are pointing directly down towards the floor. One more breath in. And exhale, lower. Press down into your hands and come to child's pose. Shift back so your hips sit on your heels. Knees spread apart. Crawl the hands forward and place your forehead down on the earth. Now, if your hips don't land on your heels, that's okay. Grab your blocks or your stack of books, place them underneath your forehead, and try again. Take a full breath. Notice the low ribs, side ribs, upper chest, and low back ribs moving with your breath. Let's inhale up to tabletop, hands and knees, for a few rounds of cat-cow. Next time you breathe in, fill up the rib cage and drop your belly. Lift your heart and hips into cow. Exhale, cat pose. Spine lifts to the sky. Tuck chin, tuck tail. Inhale, back into cow pose. Maybe even sticking your tongue out to lick your chin. Exhale into cat pose. Feel the back expand. One more time. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. And now we'll take rolling cat-cow. So you'll bring this cat pose over to the right and then drop your belly down to the ground, flowing over to the left, lifting the upper left back, upper right back, and making circles with your cat-cow. And if that doesn't make much sense, that's okay. Do whatever feels good here. Notice which direction you're going and change direction. Just waking up the spine, finding some fluidity and movement through the body. Next time you come down into normal cow pose, belly towards the ground, press down into your hands and find a neutral spine. As you inhale, lift your right hand up to the sky. Open your chest to the right. Exhale, sweep right hand underneath the left. Bring your right cheek down to the ground. Crawl your left fingertips forward to the front of your mat. Press down into the fingertips and reach them forward to lengthen the left side of your body. Take a full breath here. Bring your left hand underneath your left shoulder. Inhale, right hand all the way back up to the sky, just as we started. Open the chest. Exhale, bring the right hand back down to the ground, second side. Inhale, left hand up to the sky. Exhale, sweep left arm underneath the right, left cheek on the ground. Inhale, crawl your right fingertips forward. As you exhale, press down and forward with the fingertips to stretch deeper into your back. Take a full breath here. Bring your right hand underneath your shoulder, reverse out. Inhale, left arm up to the sky, open up. Exhale, plant the left hand down. Crawl the hands a foot forward and step back into your plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips high to the sky. We'll move through this. Inhale, come forward into your plank pose, lubricating the shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. Notice how your belly's supporting your back here. Inhale, forward into plank pose. You activated it, you engaged it. Exhale, downward facing dog. So it's naturally on to support you. Inhale, forward, plank. Last one. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, inhale. Exhale, walk the feet forward to your hands. Knees can stay bent if you're tight. As you inhale, bring your hands to your books or your outer shins. Lift up halfway. Grow your spine long. Neutral spine. A little back bend in the upper back. Another breath in here. And as you exhale, bow back down. Knees can bend. Let your head hang. Press down into your feet. Inhale, roll up to standing. Arms by the side of the body. Walk your feet so that they're together if that's comfortable for you. If not, they can be hips width distance apart. Roll your shoulders back and close your eyes. Here you're in Tadasana pose, mountain pose. Find your full breath. Find the ribs. Ride the breath. All right, as we inhale, lift the arms overhead. Urdhva Hastasana, upward hands. Exhale, fold forward. Knees can bend. Hang your head. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into your plank pose. Knees come down to the ground. Full breath in. Exhale, lower down to your belly, preparing for cobra. Remember the buttocks. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, find downward facing dog. Inhale into your down dog. Exhale, walk your feet forward, fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold back down. Think about a full breath in here as you float all the way back to standing. Arms gather overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down along the sides of the body and take a full deep breath in and out. Surya Namaskar C. This is slightly different. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Here's where it changes. Exhale, plant your hands and step your right foot back long to the end of the mat. Here you might grab your books and place them under your hand. Lower your right knee down to the ground. As you inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart. Exhale, press down into your left foot, left heel, and drag it back. One more breath in here. Exhale, plant your hands, curl your back toes under, lift your back knee off the ground. Wait for another exhale, step back into plank pose. Inhale into your plank. Exhale, lower the knees down and come all the way down to the floor. As you breathe in, lift up into cobra pose, buttocks not squeezing. Exhale, downward facing dog. As you inhale, step your right foot forward between the hands. Lower your left knee down to the ground. Plant your hands, curl your left toes under, lift your left knee. As you exhale, step your left foot forward to meet the right and fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold back down. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, release the hands to the side body. Second side, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe in, come up halfway. Breathe out, step your right foot back behind you, lower the knee to the ground. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, press down through the right heel, drag it back. Another deep breath in here, fill the ribs. Plant your hands as you exhale, lift your back knee off the ground. On another exhale, step the right foot back. Inhale into your plank. Exhale, knees come down, lower all the way down. Breathe in, cobra pose. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Plant down through your left foot as you inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. Level your hips. Neutral low back. One more breath in, make it full. And as you exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Take as many steps as you need to get there. Press down into your right foot. Press down into your left toes. Hug your outer hips together. Get strong. And inhale, come up to crescent pose. Deep bend in the right knee, arms overhead. As you exhale, pivot your left heel down to the ground and open up into warrior two. The right knee is opening up behind you, right buttocks tucking underneath you. Take a full breath in here. Find a neutral spine as you exhale. Flip your right palm up to the sky. Inhale, reverse warrior. Slide left hand down the left leg as you reach the right hand behind you. Take a full breath in here. Notice how that makes you adjust naturally. Next, inhale, breath, come back to warrior two. Stay there. As you exhale, reach your right fingertips forward, hinging deep in the right waist. Right elbow comes to the right thigh. Now sweep the left arm down towards the floor and overhead. Take a full breath here. Bring your left hand straight up to the sky, palm facing behind you. Take a look down at your right knee, should be in line with the center foot. Now release your right hand to your shin and begin to straighten the right leg, coming into triangle pose. The right knee might remain slightly bent. Take a full breath in here. Maybe gaze up at your left hand. Your next inhale breath, warrior two. Bend your right knee, lift your shoulders over your hips. On the next inhale breath, come back to crescent pose. Turn over your right leg, lift your left heel off the ground. Inhale here. And as you exhale, lower your hands to frame your right foot. Step back, plank pose. Option to flow down to the ground and through your back bend, or just head to downward facing dog. You can rest in a child's pose anytime you need. Find your full deep breath. Remember how it felt in the beginning. Can you find that sensation now? Even as the breath might have quickened, the body's warmed. We'll all meet back in a downward facing dog for the second side. Okay, right foot down on the ground. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back behind you. Level your hips. Can you feel your neutral low back? One more full breath in. And exhale, bring your left foot forward between the hands. Come up onto your fingertips, press down through the feet. Hug your outer hips in, get strong in the legs. And now as you inhale, come up to crescent pose, working on our balance. Exhale, warrior two. Swivel the right heel down to the ground. Left knee bent deep. Left knee opening behind you. Left buttock scooping underneath you. Take a full breath in here. Let it out. Flip your left palm up to the sky. Reverse your warrior. Inhale. Exhale, stay. Find your full breath in here. And out. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Exhale, reach left fingers forward. Deep crease in the left hip. Left elbow comes to the thigh. Swing your right arm down and overhead. Find your full breath here in Utthita Parshva. Do you feel a neutral spine? If not, How can you allow your body to find that? What do you need to bend? What do you need to revolve? Bring your right hand back straight up to the sky. Look down at your left knee. Release your left hand to your left shin and begin to straighten your left leg into triangle pose. Find a full breath here. Maybe gaze up at your right hand. Inhale, warrior two. Bend your left knee, bring your shoulders over your hips. Next inhale, we turn to the left, crescent pose. Lift your right heel off the ground. Full breath in here. Exhale, lower your hands to frame your left foot. Step the right foot forward, forward fold. Full breath here. Let the body ride the breath. No forced stillness. Allow yourself to be. Hands to the outer shins or your books. As you inhale, come up halfway, spine grows long. Exhale, fold back down and in. Press down into your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, hands come along the side of the body, Tadasana. Find your breath. Feel your ribs, front, sides, and back, upper ribs and lower ribs. Okay, if comfortable, stay where you are at the top of your mat. Bring your feet together. Otherwise, feet hips width distance apart. Inhale, lift the arms overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, chair pose. Try to keep the arms lifted. Inner elbows facing one another. Triceps stretching, arms as straight as possible. Now shift the weight into the right leg. Lift the left leg up and cross it over the right. If you need help with balance, find a wall or a piece of furniture. You can tap your left toes on the floor next to you, or you might cross them all the way behind the right calf. Bring the arms to a T. Inhale, full breath. Exhale, cross left arm underneath right, either giving yourself a hug or finding full eagle arms, crossing again at the wrist and pressing the palms together. Find your full breath here. Challenge yourself. Keep that bend in the right knee. Uncross the arms, bring them out to a T. Uncross the legs back into chair pose. Inhale, arms overhead, knees stay bent. Now shift the weight to your left foot. As you breathe in, straighten the left leg and lift the right knee up to hip height. You're staying where you are at the front of your mat. I'm moving. Arms stay lifted if you choose. Notice, are your hips level? Breathe. One breath in. As you exhale, twist to the right. Open your arms to shoulder height. Breathe. Inhale, breath, come back to center, arms overhead. Balance challenge. As you exhale, step the right foot back far behind you. Come into crescent pose. Exhale, bring the hands down to frame the left foot. Lift up your left arm. Toe heel the left foot to the left and bring both of your hands on the inside of the left foot. Keep your right knee off the ground or lower the right knee to the ground, either way. And hang out here in a runner's lunge for a moment. You might like to rock forward and back as you breathe. Loosening the hips, getting a feel for your body in this shape. And find one full deep breath at least. Now you can stay here on the palms, or if this is tough for you, place your palms on your books. If you've got a little more space in your body, lower down to your elbows. Now everybody press down into the right palm or elbow, and then bring the left hand to the inner left thigh. Press the left knee away from you, come onto the pinky toe side of the left foot, and then lean back. So the back side of your body leans towards the right. The back of your head leans back behind you. Any pain, slowly move into a place that has more comfort for you. Find a full breath. Right, bring both of the hands back down to the ground. Plant your left foot flat on the floor. Come up to the palms. If your right knee is down on the ground, curl the toes under and lift the right knee off of the ground. Press down into the hands. Step back plank pose. Use an exhale to get to downward facing dog. Inhale. Come to a child's pose. Exhale, knees to the ground. Find your books if you need them under your forehead, or find any comfortable shape. This is a rest. Find your breath. Tap back in to the movement of the ribs around the breath. Notice here, in child's pose, you're not in a neutral spine. Your low back is in flexion. It's rounding. Let's come back into tabletop. Curl the toes under and exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, walk your feet forward to the hands. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold down and in. Inhale all the way up to standing, arms overhead. Keep them there. Feet and legs together. Exhale, chair pose. Breathing here. Full breath. Feel for a neutral low back. Many people have the tendency to overarch the low back here. Notice if that's you. Try not to think about what's coming next. Stay present. Shift the weight into the left foot. Lift your right knee up and over, crossing the thighs. Toe taps to the ground or wraps around your left calf. Bring the arms to a T. Cross right arm underneath left, or find eagle arms crossing again at the wrists. Press your palms together. Find your full breath. Garudasana, eagle pose. All right, inhale, arms come out to a T. Keep your left knee bent. As you exhale, come back into chair pose. Chair pose, inhale, arms overhead. Straighten your right leg and lift your left knee at the same time. So the right leg is straight, left knee comes to hip height. Level the hips. Find a full breath. Keep the arms lifting overhead or bring them there if you've lowered them. They'll help you with your balance. Step the left leg back long. Come into crescent. Inhale. Exhale, plant your hands to frame your right foot. And now immediately bring both hands to the inner right foot. Toe heel the right foot open to the right. Left knee stays up or comes down. Rock maybe side to side or forward and backwards. Feeling into your hips. Breathe. So either stay right here where you are or lower down onto your elbows. Right away, we'll bring the right hand to the inner right thigh. Press the right thigh away from you. Come onto the pinky toe side of the right foot and then lean your torso back. Full breaths. All right, flatten your right foot back down on the floor. Come back up to your palms, arms straight. Curl your left toes under, lift your left knee off of the ground. Press down into your hands and step the right foot back, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. You're welcome to stay on your dog here. Come down to a child's pose for a rest, wherever you can truly find the deepest and most intimate connection to your breath in your body. And as we've defined that today, it's the movement of the ribs, front, sides, and back, upper and lower. Yoga is not only a practice for when we are in class on the mat, but it's a practice that enhances our life in every moment. And part of that is because we work with the breath, which is present with us from the moment we're born until the moment we die. We take the time to find the breath and then to stick with it. And that way we always stay present with our life force. And that's what we're practicing. All right, make your way onto your belly and up on your elbows, Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath shoulders, palms either flat on the floor in front of the elbows, or you can interlace your fingers. Feet are hips width distance apart. And then if you're one of those butt clenchers, which you know now because you touched your butt earlier in class, relax the butt. No clenching. Clenching the butt externally rotates the legs and it shortens the space around the sacrum. We want to leave the low back free. That's not to say you should never clench your butt. Just not right now. Okay, slowly lower down to the floor. Bring your forehead to the earth. And then reach the arms behind you. Thumbs down towards the ground, palms facing in towards the body. Roll the shoulders away from the earth. Reach your tailbone between the heels. Avoid clenching your butt. Keep the tops of the feet and toenails pressing down. As you inhale, lift your heart off the ground. Check back in with your buttocks and your low back. Are they long? That takes work. Now reach the fingertips behind you and then try to press your palms together. Unless you're incredibly flexible and double jointed, they won't be able to get together, but we're really trying. You'll feel the upper arms rolling back. Lengthen the neck. Check in with your low back and your buttocks. Have you forgotten about them? One more breath in and exhale, release. Bring one cheek down to the ground. Find a full breath. Sometimes that might take a few breaths to get there. Whether you're breathing rapidly or your mind is distracted or something else. All right, bring your forehead back down to the ground. This time we'll leave the arms down on the floor, but still palms facing in towards the body and shoulders rolling back. So really just the thumbs are down on the floor. One leg at a time. Lift the right leg. Lower it. Lift the left leg. Lower it. If your back feels okay, we'll lift both. If not, you'll repeat, lifting right and left. If you're going to, lift both legs. If you're still feeling okay, roll the shoulders away from the ground. Inhale, lift your chest. Reach your fingertips behind you. If you're lifting one leg and then the other, place both of your hands or the feet back on the floor. Lift your chest. And now everybody bring the arms out to a T, palms face down. Keep the chest lifted. Bring the arms in front of you like Superman, palms facing one another. From beneath your shoulder blades, lift your arms up higher. One more breath in. And exhale, release. Bring one cheek down to the ground. Rest. Find your full breath. Let everything go and observe the body as it releases. Wriggle your hips right to left. Release the low back. Excuse me. All right, come back to Sphinx pose. So practice is a doozy. Elbows underneath shoulders. Shoulder blades draw down the back. Now, if you've had enough of this back bending, you might just stay here in Sphinx pose or find a child's pose to rest in. If you feel like a little more opening through the body, let's take the right palm, the forearm, and bring it parallel to the front side of your mat. Bend your left knee, bring your heel in towards your buttocks, and then reach back with your left hand to grab the left foot. And if you can't grab the left foot, you can grab your strap. It can be kind of complicated to lasso it here, or you can just keep the heel pulling in towards the buttocks. Now press down into that right arm, roll the right shoulder back, and draw the left shoulder forward. Press the foot into the left hand, feel a stretch and opening in the top of the left chest. Notice what your buttocks is doing. And slowly release the left leg, come back into Sphinx. Left forearm parallel to the front of the mat. Bend your right knee. Reach back with your right hand to grab the right foot. Press down into the left elbow. Roll the left shoulder back and draw the right shoulder forward, or right side chest forward. Kick back into your hand to draw the right shoulder back. So you're pulling the chest forward, but kicking back so that the right shoulder opens. Check in with your low back and your buttocks, just notice. And slowly release. Come back to Sphinx pose, or if you need a break, lower down, one cheek on the ground. Let's all do that. Go ahead and lower down. Bring your forehead down to the ground. And either stay here or repeat a Sphinx pose, or do any of the exercises that you liked. Or if you've got a little bit more oomph, a little more stamina, we'll come into Dhanurasana or bow pose. That's with both legs. So forehead stays on the ground. Bend both of your knees. Knees are hips width distance apart. Reach back with your hands to grab the tops of your feet or your ankles. Keep your thighs and your hips down on the ground for now. Notice what's going on in your buttocks. Commit to not clenching. Now roll your shoulders back. Begin to kick the feet into the hands. Feel that help lifting your shoulders. Thighs stay down. As you inhale, lift the chest. Thighs stay down. Lengthen your low back by reaching your tailbone between the knees. And if you'd like, lift your thighs off of the ground. Kick back hard into the hands. Breathe. Take a full breath. Notice the buttocks. As you relax the buttocks, the knees stop splaying. Slowly lower, one cheek to the ground. Rock the hips side to side. Bring your hands underneath you and use them to help you flip over onto your back. Pull your right knee into your chest. Straighten your left leg. Let the right low back round. Breathe. Find your ribs. Find that movement. Straighten your right leg. What's most important here is that the femur bone, your thigh bone, is just perpendicular to the floor. It's not so much a hamstring stretch as a low back release. So then take your hands on your thigh bone and plug it down towards the floor. Let your hip socket receive the thigh bone. All right, pull the right knee back into the chest. Now find a neutral spine. So the hips are level, pubic bone and two front hip points are level, and a neutral curve in the low back. Keep that. Bring your right arm out to the right, elbow at shoulder height. Inhale. And as you exhale, twist the knee and your body over to the left. Go slow. You are just back bending. Maybe gaze over to the right. Take a full breath in and out. Come back to center. Right foot on the floor. Pull your left knee into your chest and let your low left back round. Straighten your right leg. Breathe deep and smooth. Straighten your left leg up to the sky. Again, thigh bone, femur, perpendicular. Hold on to the femur bone and plug it straight down towards the floor, sinking the thigh bone in the hip socket. This releases the low back. Pull the left knee back into the chest. This time find a neutral spine and neutral hips. Release your left arm to the left. Inhale. As you exhale, twist to your right, crossing the left knee over the body. Maybe gaze to your left. Deep, full ribcage breathing. Maybe you've noticed in your practice tonight with this style of breathing, it changes the way you feel and inhabit each of the poses. So when we let the breath move the body freely, it means we're softening tension around areas we might squeeze, and that squeezing might not be necessary. The breath needs to move. Bring the left knee back to center. Let's hug both of the knees into the chest. Let the low back round. Rock side to side, massaging the low back into your mat. Let's place both of the feet back on the floor for a figure 4 stretch. Cross the right ankle over the left knee and press the right thigh away from you. If this is a stretch, stay here and breathe. If you don't feel much, pull the left knee into the chest and hold on to the back of the left thigh. You can use your right elbow to press the right thigh away from you as you pull the left knee closer in towards your chest. Full breath. Release your left thigh, place the left foot on the floor, and change sides. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Step 1, press the left thigh away from the face. Stay here or pull the right knee into the chest, interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, and with your left elbow, continue pressing the left thigh away from the face as you pull the right knee in a little closer. Find your breath. Let the breath change your experience. Let the breath adjust your bones. And get out of the way of your breath. It will do miraculous things. Release the right foot to the ground and pull both of your knees back into your chest. Our last pose is happy baby. So let's bring the soles of the feet to the sky, separate your knees and draw them down towards the sides of your body. Now you might hold on to the back of your thighs, or you might reach your elbows in between your knees and then hold on to the ankle or the outer foot. The reason we weave the arms between the legs is so that we can pull those knees along the sides of the body. And notice what your low back is doing here. There's more than one way to do every pose. You might notice that yours is naturally rounding. That's okay. You might notice that yours is playing with neutral. That's okay too. Maybe you like to rock side to side here. Maybe you like to straighten one leg and then the other as you rock. Take some full breaths. First, bring the heels together in front of the hips at your groin. Then wrap your arms around the outer knees and pull the legs together. Hug them in. Bring your feet down to the floor. First, the left leg, straighten it down to the lower left side of your mat. And then rock your legs side to side, toes fall in, toes fall out. And then just let the toes fall out, let the leg go. Now straighten the right leg down to the end of your mat and rock your right leg in and out, until you just let it fall open to the right. Bring the arms along the sides of your body, palms face up, and rock side to side to tuck your shoulder blades underneath your back. Make any adjustments you need to here for comfort. And stay with your breath. Just as we began class, and you're welcome to use your hands again if you'd like, or just your mind. Feel the breath at the low front ribs. No forcing, no effort, just noticing. Now feel the breath underneath the armpits at the side ribs. On inhale, they expand right to left. And on exhale, they soften. You might notice this experience is the same or different from when you began your practice. Now shifting your awareness to your top front ribs. Feel how your collarbones move, how the upper rib cage moves. Every breath you take in and out. And finally, move your awareness to your low back ribs. Let them settle down towards the floor and feel how your breath moves here. Now let your focus broaden